Okay, we're going to read the first little part of the novel Mania by Lionel Shriver. Chapter 1. I was on my way to pick up a few things for dinner. As she did so often, my running buddy Emery was coming over that night, when my son's school rang to inform me that he was being sent home for bullying, so would I please pick him up. Darwin is a contained, deliberate boy, hardly inclined to push other children around, so I wondered if there might have been a misunderstanding. He'd always performed at the top of his class and, until recently, he'd been the apple of his teacher's eyes. Surely enough, when I came to retrieve him from the front office, my slight, precocious oldest was sitting quietly, though his mouth was set and he was staring fiercely into the middle distance, excluding the two adults in the room from his line of sight. At 11, he was about the age at which I awakened from an indoctrination that Darwin had been spared. Yet his customary containment had a combustible quality reminiscent of my own demeanour when seething silently through family worship evening. "I'm afraid your son ridiculed one of his classmates," the assistant principal informed me. "He employed language we consider unacceptable in a supportive environment and which I will not repeat." The official thrust her formidable breasts upward, dramatising the haughty bearing in little need of emphasis. Well, most kids try bad language on for size. Playground obscenities would be one thing, slurs are quite another. This is a suspension-level offence. Any similar violation in the future could merit expulsion. If not the very best in Voltaire, Pennsylvania, Gertrude Stein Primary is, or was, a decent public school not overly far from our house. 2 grades below, Darwin's sister Zanzibar went here too, while our youngest 6-year-old Lucy had just started school here that September. Ergo, Wade and I couldn't afford to alienate the administration. Even if our son was drifting toward the doghouse, we just had to ease Darwin through 6th grade and out the door. So I promised I'd speak sternly to him and remind him that certain terms are out of bounds. The second in command didn't let me go without adding a warning. "I do hope he isn't picking up this kind of derogatory vocabulary because it's a commonplace at home. I assure you we're very civilized." Any number of civilizations of times past held views we find abhorrent today. I think you know what I mean, Miss Converse. This is a forward-looking institution. Back in the car, Darwin remained silent because, thanks to my older 2 kids' anonymous test tube father, his ethnic heritage is half Japanese. Many people interpret his refined features and slight figure as signatures of constitutional delicacy. But that slender frame is built on an armature of steel. Darwin is not delicate. I let him stew on the drive back. Last fall, this leafy neighbourhood had signs planted in nearly every yard. "Morons welcome here," the same sign that businesses in strip malls all taped hastily to their windows. But overt usage of such terms of opprobrium, even in quotation marks, rapidly morphed from déclassé to crude to deadly. So the current crop of yard signs were more sedate. We support cognitive neutrality. The car up ahead sported one of those bumper stickers that had proliferated everywhere. "Honk if you hate brainiacs." Because a plethora of other drivers also, it seemed, hated brainiacs, the trip home was loud. Lest our woody, rambling 5-bedroom give a misleading impression of my family's circumstances, Wade's and my fire sale purchase of the comely and substantial property was made possible only by the foreclosures of 2008. In mid-October, it was too chilly to talk out Darwin's sins on the commodious back deck, so I sat my son at the kitchen table while I surveyed our larder for what ingredients we had on hand. I hoped this cross-examination would be short because Lucy's school bus would arrive at our stop in less than 2 hours, and it seemed that I still need to dash to the supermarket. It was about a t-shirt, Darwin said sourly at last. And Stevie was wearing one that said, if you're so smart, why aren't you smart? I guffawed. God, that's lame. It doesn't even make sense. That's what I said. Actually, all I said was, it is stupid. The S word. I didn't call Stevie stupid. I said his t-shirt was. Stupid Stevie had a ring to it that in my day would have made it irresistible. Well, I said, when you wear a stupid shirt, that can't help but suggest that you're a little bit stupid yourself. I don't understand the rules anymore, Darwin exploded. Okay, so a person can't be stupid. You've explained why over and over, and no, I still don't see how, as of one day back around the beginning of 5th grade, suddenly a fucking doofhead wasn't a fucking doofhead anymore. If I cursed occasionally on principle, I'd no place being prissy about my kids' language at home. But okay, I get it. I don't call anyone the S word or a bunch of other words. But can a thing still be stupid, like a shirt? Can an idea be stupid? Can anything be stupid, or is everything intelligent now? I squinted. I'm not sure. Calling everything intelligent might get you into trouble too. This junk is all anyone cares about anymore. But it's not like we don't all know which kids are total pea-brains. The teachers are always calling on them, and no matter what they say, it's always, oh, Jennifer, that's so wise. And then when one of the thickos claims 5 times 7 is 62, our maths teacher says, excellent, that's one answer, and a very good answer. So would anyone else like to contribute a different answer? I suppose none of this was funny, really. Still, I couldn't help but laugh. I know I'm not objective, but mothers aren't meant to be, and my son charmed the pants off me. I swear the teachers are actually afraid of the class dummies, Darwin continued. The dimwits are never called out for talking during lessons or not turning in their homework. I guess now not doing your homework is just a different and totally wise way of doing your homework. Meanwhile, the dummies are becoming a pain in the butt. They walk around with their noses in the air like they're so special, and they're always on the lookout for something you said that they can jump on and take the wrong way. Like Aaron told this girl, Wendy, that her new phone case was super dope. He was just trying to be nice and also to sound cool, but she punched him in the arm and reported him to the new MPC. At my quizzical look, he spelled out, mental parody champion. I think all the schools have them. Anyway, Aaron was forced to apologise in front of the class because Wendy and the NPC were both too clueless to know that dope means great. I have a funny feeling that usage is on the way out, I said. Listen, you don't say words like thicko and dummy at school, do you? Of course not. That would make me a dummy and a thicko, wouldn't it? But I don't understand why we can't stick up for what we think. You said there is too such a thing as being smarter than other people, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. I don't understand why we have to go along with this junk. I confess that I took pleasure in the cosy collusion of our heretical household, yet I worried that my own determination to preserve a sanctum of sanity behind closed doors put the kids in a parlous situation. There's obviously something to be said for staying true to what we believe, I said, but we have to be prudent, pick our spots. This new way of thinking about people is bigger than we are. If we stick up for what we believe in the wrong way or at the wrong time, we won't accomplish anything, aside from doing ourselves a great deal of damage. In due course, I'd have been better off delivering this speech to myself. You mean we just have to go along with everyone else because we're outnumbered? Or because if we don't, we'll be punished? What's the difference between your being prudent and being a fucking coward? There's no difference, I said heavily. Now, get your coat.